You start.
Yes.
Oh, well, I had a burger tonight. I feel good.
Oh, you know where I went to dinner? We took our neighbor because
This is News 6 Tonight.
hello everyone and welcome to the Tuesday edition before Thanksgiving of News 6 Tonight. That's a mouthful, but we all have been busy. I've been getting the first layer of my stomach together, like coating it for more food later on in the week.
Lots of dairy. Been getting lots of dairy in here. Other than that, aside a
That
little nap
sounds
from the morning,
awful.
I'm fasting.
We're so happy that you made time for us. We know you probably have family and friends in town this week. We hope you do, and you're about to enjoy a lovely Thanksgiving, long extended weekend. I'm Ginger
You
Gadsden.
want to change their life? Show them this show. Share this show with them. We've got Railstalker. He's joining
Wow.
us tonight.
Hi.
Yeah, let them know. Get a little bit of that Florida in them.
Yeah.
And Ginger, the nice thing is,
hmm
I have figured out what I want to do for your next birthday.
Can we
I
just
want to
move on? I don't
take
even.
you fishing.
No, no.
That's what I want to do. I think
I'm
we'd
not
have a
going
really good time
anywhere
on a
remote with you.
fishing trip about 26 miles off the coast of the
Wow.
Gulf of Mexico.
You're
And
the
then
worst friend
we'll just
ever.
see what happens. So, this was not a happy birthday. I'm talking about a story that we've been covering today. Some Florida men, including a freshly minted 70-year-old. They
Yes.
were going on a birthday fishing trip. There was also a 90-year-old on
Not
this boat.
freshly minted anything.
Are you not freshly minted
At
as a
90,
70
as a
or a
90 year
90 year
old.
old?
No.
So they went fishing, and then their families realized they usually get back at
It's
four
after 4 o'clock.
o'clock. It's
Yep.
now 8:30. Where are they? So they
hmm
called in the Coast Guard. It was nighttime by the time people figured out something was wrong.
hmm
So then the next morning, as soon as the sun came up, they started looking for these guys. And incredibly, the next day around 9 a.m., they found them.
Oof.
And their boat was capsized. They're clinging to it. Had to
Yeah.
be the worst night ever for these guys as you're
Can't
trying to
imagine.
hang on to this 90-year-old to
Yeah.
keep him from drowning the whole time. Here is one of the people who was on that boat telling us the story.
But it was probably less than 5 minutes before it rolled, and I didn't have time to contact the Coast Guard. We was more worried about getting a life jacket on the 90-year-old and the 18-year-old, and then the one I was going to wear got hung up. I had to just leave it. The night was real tough because the waves picked up, and we was having to you know, try to get up on top of the rigging of it, and with a 90-year-old, I spent almost all night holding him up.
Oh my
Can you imagine
goodness.
that situation? So
No.
they could
What?
sort of stand there, but at night with no lights around, they said the waves picked up to two,
Pitch
3, 4
black.
feet. Man, I tell you what, whoever took me out on that boat ride, I'd have been saying some words not fit for even the internet right now. But the 90-year-old, you can see they got him off of there.
Yeah.
Everybody appears to be okay, but they were
Thank goodness.
26 miles off the coast. It is so hard to find somebody out there in the sea.
Wait,
in the
if you've
open ocean.
ever watched any the Coast Guard swimmers and if you've seen their training, which is not what happened here, but when they have to go and find someone and then they see them, it's like a needle in a haystack is how they describe it, because you would think this, and this is why they tell you always wear bright colors when you're out on the water. That's why the safety vests are always that bright orange or whatever. And when you think about the water temperature right there, I Googled it, Clearwater was, or out in that area, is about 69 degrees last night. While they're not fully submerged, they're somewhat submerged. And they talk about how like hypothermia can set in, especially if you're talking about somebody who's 70 and a 90-year-old.
At 69 degrees, you can get hypothermia?
Yeah. That's what
Really?
it says. And it says within the first hour, it says expected timeline for 69-degree water. Within the first hour, you likely will experience cold shock, causing, but this is if you're fully submerged.
in it,
In it, yeah. But they, thank goodness that didn't happen to them, but you're still kind of cold out there. Their feet had to be wet the entire time, and that's a miserable
I just
experience.
think of that moment, you're way offshore.
Yeah.
You take on water. He says in 5 minutes that thing was flipped over. I would be thinking I'm dead. There's no
Yeah.
way they're going to find us out here. Nobody even, they didn't get the chance to say Mayday, Mayday.
Yeah, and I don't know. We years ago when I lived in Tampa, we did a terrible story about those
with the
NFL
football players?
boaters.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
and one person survived. I think there were three of them on this a boat that looked much smaller than that one, and they were fully submerged. Their boat capsized, and they couldn't even climb up on it to get a hold of it. And that's what, when you hear something like that, your mind goes, or at least my mind went right to that when you hear like, oh my God, there are people missing off the coast of Clearwater, and they've been gone overnight. You're like, oh, this is not going to end well.
Did you ever
But-
see that horror flick where everybody like, oh, we're having a
Open
good time,"
water?
and they jump off the boat
And there's
they,
no
they
ladder.
didn't bring the ladder down and nobody could get back up. That one
is a
haunts my night.
and this is why I won't go fishing with you.
Come on,
So
let's go have a good time, Gigi.
yeah, but thank goodness everybody's going to be okay. You know, they're
Yeah.
all getting checked out, so that's a delightful
Never
story
letting
to
that guy
start
take
with.
me
But
fishing again,
but
for sure.
but honestly, what it could have been a different story that we're telling right now. Another story coming out of Volusia County. We know it's one of our favorite sheriffs, and he is also known nationally for being very colorful with his language. He likes to call people scumbags. You know who I'm talking about.
Let me think.
the
Yeah,
the
Mike
one and the only Mike Chitwood. And he is big on doing the right thing. And sometimes that butts head with what the community thinks is the right thing.
There's some people in the community.
Some people, yeah. This one, he wants to make an example of some of these kids who, you know, this game you play where you ring somebody's doorbell and then you run off.
It's not a game. I think it's more of a crime you play.
Well,
yeah.
but this one escalated because they were kicking doors.
Yes.
And
Oh, you
that's
mean
a
ding dong ditch.
ding dong
Okay, yeah,
ditch.
that's
Yes,
one thing.
that's the game.
But these kids
We're not doing that.
reverse kick the door.
And
Yeah.
in the middle of the night, and that has got to be a terrifying thing to hear at night. You hear noises outside, but somebody actively kicking on your door. And in Florida, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people have guns. This story could have really ended up terribly for those kids who were kicking the door, because if you're a homeowner and it sounds like someone's trying to breach your humble abode,
It sounds like somebody's trying to break in your front door. I know
absolutely.
the first thing I'm grabbing.
Yeah.
You know, some kids
Yeah.
beat on my windows a few weekends ago.
So Sheriff Mike Chitwood made an example of some of these kids, and their picture has been posted on social media. And one of the kids is saying that he's getting threats and people are mad. And his family called News 6. This is why it's important for us to know what's going on, because we will tell your side of the story. They called us. They were not happy about what was happening, and they think the sheriff has gone too far and he's doing it for social media. Let's listen to a little bit of our community correspondent, Mike Valenti, tell the story, and then you can pick it up on the other side.
My ring went off.
This is the start of a video posted on the Facebook pages of both Sheriff Mike Chitwood and the Volusia County Sheriff's Office.
You with the hat. Come over here to the car.
I think Chitwood is doing it for a social media platform.
That's Nate Barnhart, seen in this video accompanied by a caption that reads, "It's not really ding-dong ditch if you're kicking doors." Deputies have charged 3 teens with felony attempted burglary, accusing them of kicking a Deltona woman's door.
You're being detained at the moment, okay?
Barnhart's son was one of the teens arrested, and the only one of them whose face you see.
The video that is posted on Facebook is implying that my son did a crime that he didn't commit.
You match the description of an individual.
We're blurring the teen's face because Koss and Barnhart say they're concerned for his safety.
He's bullying children, is what he's doing.
He is Sheriff Chitwood. Koss emailed him Monday, writing in part, quote, "I fully understand your reasoning behind showing children's faces on social media to try and correct their bad behavior. The problem is you are going about it the wrong way."
I don't understand what law it is that states that he has to put a child's face on the internet.
The video's caption ends with these words: "Getting arrested is one likely outcome. Getting shot by a Florida resident protecting their home and family is another."
I just think this can be a cautionary tale to any kids out there thinking about doing this, or parents who are watching now who may have kids who like to play pranks sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with a prank, but a prank like
Yeah,
that.
this is different. This
Yeah,
is
this is not a
possible
prank.
property
Yeah.
damage.
So talk to your kids about that. Then that this situation will not happen, hopefully. But I understand you're concerned for the safety of your child who just happened to be with the wrong friends. That's why you got to choose your friends carefully too. He apparently wasn't involved in the kicking or
Yeah,
any of
they
the other
say
stuff.
they basically paint him as an innocent bystander. Like he was just standing there. He didn't actually kick the door. His face shouldn't have been shown, but he was,
He was there.
He was on this other person's property
Mm-hmm.
at night while his friend kicked the door. And now the sheriff, they said he's doing this to increase his social media following. If you've ever met Sheriff Mike Chitwood, I don't know that he really cares a lot about his social media following, but I do think he wants to use it to try to shame people into doing the right thing.
Yeah,
That's what I think he would say if he were responding.
Yeah, and some people don't agree because he will put if a juvenile is accused of a very serious crime or a felony, he will show it. He will make an example of that child and let you know that just because you're a kid doesn't mean that we won't put you in cuffs and take you to jail.
Yeah, this is true. But I am very glad that family reached out to us, told us
I
their
am
side of
too.
the story,
So
we could hear it.
let us
And it
know if
is
you have a
their
story.
job to try to protect and defend their kid.
Correct.
That's what they're doing the best, but they hopefully have guided that kid to not be in, the wrong place.
Choose your
at the
friends
wrong
carefully.
time. That's right. Show me your friends. I'll show you your future. That's what they say. All right. By the way, Sue, happy birthday. She just told us that
Sue,
it's her
happy
birthday.
birthday.
Hopefully you have a great
Sue's in Nova Scotia.
24th birthday, I believe, is how old Sue is. Hey, do you have a neighbor who everybody in the hood kind of talks about and says, stay away from that one? That's the trouble neighbor over there. Do you have one of those?
Thank goodness I do not.
You don't?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Me neither.
That's the right thing
The
to say out
rule
loud.
is, the rule is, if you don't know who the crazy neighbor is,
It's you.
It's definitely you. So there are some crazy accusations. You might think you have a neighbor that you're accusing of some things. These are some crazy accusations that involve fecal matter coming from a neighborhood in Indialantic. And I'm glad I didn't get this story. Our community correspondent, James Sparvero, is tackling this one.
What is your complaint about
That
next door?
she lives on the front stoop, defecates and urinates in a bucket and spreads it all over the neighborhood.
So I know that sounds disgusting, but that's what some people on Atlantic Avenue told me one of their neighbors is doing. I'm your Indialantic community correspondent, James Sparvero. I drove to Sonia Capriva's house to ask if she'd like to respond to her neighbor's complaints. One of them gave me this video they said shows rats in her window. I found Sonia just as neighbors told me I would.
You must be Sonia. I'm James from Channel 6. I was wondering if...
What's the problem here, James? Because I don't need you here.
People are harassing us bad.
Sonia told me she wishes her neighbors would leave her alone. The sheriff's office told me it more or less is, because she hasn't been caught breaking any criminal laws.
I have to come clean up feces so the neighbors don't have to smell it.
Susan Brennan bought the empty lot next door 6 years ago, but told me she hasn't built a house yet because she doesn't want to live next to Sonia.
These people just moved out. They couldn't deal with it anymore. What we just don't understand is how the authorities ignore us and let her live there.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a whole lot the police can do in this situation. What they're describing does sound gross, and I don't want to see that happening, but I don't know that you can arrest somebody unless she threw it onto a person or a
Yeah,
car.
and she's not doing that, but apparently this one neighbor is saying that she's spreading the feces around the neighborhood, which I don't know why you would do that. The one thing I do want to say is when you have someone who is living like this, and basically you can call it squalor, if she's going to the bathroom in a bucket on the front porch, there's another issue other than how she's living.
Yeah.
There's a mental health issue
that's a good
going
way to
on,
look at
and I feel like maybe that's the kind she doesn't need police intervention. She needs mental health intervention. And that's where this story should go next because you wouldn't normally, if you were a person, as my parents used to say, in your right mind, want to live on your front porch when you have a house. And you wouldn't want to use a bucket to go to the bathroom in if you have plumbing that works in your house. And you saw the rats on the rodents on the outside of the house. There's
That
something
was
else.
shocking video.
There's
Were there
something
4 or
else
5
going
of
on.
them there?
And
Yeah.
if your neighbor has rats, you have rats. So I completely understand. And people moved. That's not a light decision to make, to move. So they've been dealing with it for a
I
very
like
long
the
time.
way you're pointing that out, though, because that is important. I think a lot of us look at our neighbors and we think, "Oh, how is this affecting
Yeah.
me?"
Yeah,
But
but
maybe
something's
if
going
somebody
on.
would go over there and just say, "Hey, how can I
going
help you get through
Yeah.
this? Like,
Yeah.
what do you need?"
That's what neighbors are for, right?
Somebody's supposed to drop over a dumpster so they can get
Yeah.
rid of some of the clutter.
And it's easy for us to say, hey, be a kind neighbor because she's not our neighbor.
This is true. It would be very difficult
Yeah,
to live
yeah.
near that, I
All
would
right,
imagine.
stay with us because when we come back, we have a story that would you eat meat if you knew it was printed? Can you do that? A soup company is being accused of doing that
soup you have
very
eaten
thing when we come back. Yeah, and you got the latest from the show just a little while ago, I think. So we'll make sure we have that for News 6 tonight. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We know you're busy, but news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
That's right. And this is News 6 Tonight, where we leverage this entire busy newsroom with our community correspondents, our producers, our content desk, and then we filter through that. We have a casual conversation about the news that impacts Central Florida.
Yeah, we live here in the community, and we rely on you for our neighborhood network because you're our eyes and ears as well, and we can't do it without you.
So you can watch us all over the place, YouTube, News 6 Plus app, and clickorlando.com. While you're here, feel free to engage. Let us know who you are and where you're from.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back to News 6 Tonight, everyone. Hopefully your Tuesday night is going really well. Maybe you're having...
Maybe you're sipping on some Campbell's soup tonight.
You saw where I was going to get out of my
I knew
head.
what you were doing. I'm sorry. I should have just let it happen.
Why didn't you just let me say
I
a
don't
lot of
know.
you?
I'm sorry. You do it to me all the time.
Stealing my thunder is what you call that. There's a story going around that when you hear it, you're like, that can't be possible. There's a Campbell's soup. We've all had Campbell's soup. And if you are saying you've never had Campbell's soup, I grew up on like the tomato soup and the chicken noodle soup.
The chicken
oh my
noodle,
gosh.
I can taste it right now.
Right
I've had
now.
gallons of that stuff.
I tasted it last week when I wasn't feeling well. And when we had that cold snap, I think I had some Campbell's soup and I mixed it with something else. Anyway, it's a soup that it's in, it's an iconic soup. Now there is word that possibly it's not real meat they're using. These are just allegations, and I'm not saying them. There's a now former employee who's saying, and
Is he suspended?
I think he got fired.
Oh, He's
He
on
got
permanent leave.
well, no, the guy who recorded the audio got fired. The
Okay.
person, the VP,
VP
is the person who's kind of on
on
leave right now. So let's hear a part of what this now former employee recorded the VP saying.
I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. It's not healthy. Now that I know what the in it, even in a can of soup, I look at it, look at meat, bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer. We have poor people. Who buys our
Okay, so the person you're hearing get bleeped a lot is the vice president of Campbell's. His name is Martin Bally. And he was speaking with an employee who was recording that. The employee was asking for a raise or in there possibly to talk about a raise. Probably didn't happen because that
didn't
person's
go
now
well.
now fired. But
We
they're-
sell poor people soup. You want a raise? Our lab-grown chicken? We can't even grow real meat.
but the chunks of chicken that you get in your Campbell, why would you need to 3D print that? They're so tiny. Why?
It's such a ridiculous story.
I don't know, but Campbell's did respond saying that they use 100% chicken.
They do.
They are proud of their product, and any of these allegations are just false, just flat out false. But it was interesting that this guy thought to record this exchange. So he had to have known that something was going to come of it. So if he had gotten the raise, maybe we would not know any of these allegations.
Like, okay, you don't want to give me a raise? I got a little something.
Yeah, so
for
our
you.
attorney general is now involved, which is why we're doing the story. James Othmeyer is saying, okay, we don't allow you to sell lab-grown meat
Yeah,
to our people.
They made that against the
So
law.
yeah, so they have now launched an investigation, which is how Florida is now tangled up in this. So we'll have to keep an eye on this and see what happens.
Yeah.
But the weather's getting cooler in the next couple of days. We'll talk to Jonathan about that in a little bit. So some of you may be making soup purchases.
But yeah, I do want to reiterate. Campbell says they do
No.
not use 3D printed chicken, lab-grown chicken, or any
Never
artificial
heard of such a thing.
bioengineered
How would
chicken.
you 3D? First of all, okay, and not
And this
to
guy
even
could have just been saying that.
not to even be funny, but if you can 3D print meat and foods that people can eat, like no one should be hungry in this country because that means you can print
They
something
can
that
do it. Have you seen it though? Doesn't look good.
it doesn't look good. But if you're hungry, I bet it'll taste good. It'll be. Anyway, I'm not advocating for that at all. I'm not saying that's what happened. Okay.
Okay, let's talk about a new state law before Ginger veers off. This new law, it's called SB 180, is causing controversy, and this is even causing a bit of a rift in the Republican Party in Florida because a lot of people disagree with it, and some are very much for it. It basically limits a local government's oversight for development, which is a
Oh
very
boy, it's a big thing
topic.
here in Florida.
Half of our stories on the news these days are about local development and local people, especially if you're in a place like Chuliota or you're in Lake County.
You're out there for a
They
reason.
bought this property because they want their horses.
I
and
wanna
they-
hear
they're
the
in
chickens.
Groveland.
Yeah.
They don't want a bunch of traffic. And so this takes a lot of the power away from cities and counties. Now, it was imposed to put limits from people rebuilding after hurricanes and that sort of thing is what they say. But this is really having
It's gotten out of hand for some.
far-reaching effect on specifically some of these smaller places. And your community correspondent, Angie Casada, takes us to Edgewater now, who's dealing with the impacts.
Monday night, the Edgewater City Council meeting ended with a unanimous vote, accepting a settlement with developer Lennar. The deal allows new homes to move forward, but with a smaller footprint and more flood control. Residents say it's still not enough.
And there's 4 feet of water in front of my house, and that 2 rainstorms ago. Right. So it's one of those. Let's figure it out, and before we go building more.
Mayor Diesel Depew called the scaled-back plan a win, saying it adds retention areas the city has been demanding for months. But he also criticized the city attorney for not using resident testimony in the lawsuit that led to this settlement.
What we're seeing tonight was
So there's a lot of backlash for that story. We're going to keep following as it has great impact on a lot of local places.
Yeah. All right. Time now for a check of the forecast with our favorite meteorologist, especially on this show. His name is meteorologist John. No, you are Jonathan.
Thanks, guys.
Julie
What's
Rockmore
there to be
is the
careful
show,
about?
is all I'm gonna say.
But she's not on the show right now. So we've
There you
got
go.
family coming in, family already in, and so we are excited about the forecast that you're going to tell us about. Go.
Yeah, if you like it on the cooler side, I'm ecstatic about the forecast. If you remember last week when we talked, the question was, okay, was it going to be a really warm Thanksgiving or is it going to be a cool Thanksgiving? I know there's a big difference in that, but it was the timing of the cold front. Tomorrow's going to be the really warm day, and then Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, is going to be the transition day. Find the cold front, guys. Yeah, it might be pretty
We can see
clear.
it.
St. Louis is at 53 right now. Omaha is in the mid 30s. It's right in between there. And that's the colder air that arrives here during the morning on Thursday and then really settles in Thursday night. So, couple of really awesome things happening. I think it's going to feel festive on Thanksgiving. It's going to be a little gray, though. That's the only caveat. And then decorating for Christmas. If you've not done so already, I mean, festive, hot chocolate stuff, fire
Yes.
pit weather,
Caroling.
fireplace weather, caroling, humming. I hear that's going.
Oh, geez, don't get her started again.
I'm gonna open up that can of worms.
Thanks,
again.
Jonathan, for doing that.
But all that stuff. So we are going to take a look at that and look at the travel forecast across the country as well. If you have family coming in later tonight or tomorrow, it's wild out there.
All right, sounds good, Jonathan Kagas. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Check him out at 9:30. We're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome to News 6 Tonight. We are so thankful that you're joining us here wherever you found us.
Yeah, you know what this tells me? If you have made this your new streaming destination, it tells me you're smart. Also, good looking. Because you chose to watch the news in a different way. That makes you really smart. Anybody can give you the news from a teleprompter or an old newspaper. We do it in a fresh new way.
That's right. So check us out wherever you like to stream. We have this app for your TV, News 6 Plus. You can find it on Roku and Amazon and whatever your smart TV is cooking. So thank you. We would love to hear your comments down
Oh my
below.
gosh. Yeah.
And then we'll show them.
Yeah, we will. News 6 Plus. The plus is you.
Ooh. Hey, welcome back to News 6 Tonight. Glad to have you with us. Ginger's giggly tonight. It's my Friday. I'm off after tonight.
Yeah, you are. We'll miss
So
you.
you get, thank you very much. I will miss you as well, as I drowned myself in turkey
Gravy.
and cornbread stuffing.
Well, don't you also do a slab of, what is it that you cook on the grill? Brisket.
Ginger's coming to my house on Thanksgiving. And
Because you invited me.
she's gonna
Thank
get
you.
some of that brisket.
Thank you. Thank
Well,
you.
my wife invited you.
Yes. The Austin I really like.
I'm like, really? I have to hang out with her on my off days? No, we love having Gigi. And you can participate in the Gingerbread House contest, which we do every year.
I bribe
That'll be good.
people.
Yes. Oh, we're out of time. Have a great night.
Bye.